Hey there! If you are an ICF member, the following information might be relevant to you because the ICF has new rules of accreditation. The ICF now requires you to complete a one-question quiz so that you can get the CC units for it. So, after you reviewed this session recording, simply scroll down to the session resources below and find a one-question quiz. Please complete it, and you will make sure that you will receive the CC units for this session recording. And if you already attended this session live and are simply re-watching this session recording, you've already been granted the CC units for it, and you don't need to complete a one-question quiz. Also, here is a tutorial on how to get the most out of our new video player. Click on the CC button to turn on the captions. Click on the search button, enter a specific keyword, and then click on the preferred result. And you will be taken to the part of the video where your keyword is mentioned. Click here to download raw transcripts. And if you are a premium member, head over here for the downloadable audio. That's it from me. Hope you enjoy this session.
My name is Carrie Thompson. I'll be your host today. And we have Lynn managing technical support in the background. Without her, this would not be happening. So our coaching session with Jonathan Reitz will last 60 minutes, and then it's followed by an implementation mastery session. I'm sure most of you have done one by this point, and Jonathan was one of the first people to, as a speaker, was one of the first people to come into one of the implementation mastery sessions as a bit of a guest. And he's going to do that again for us today. So maybe he will show up in your session if you're lucky. Otherwise, all the sessions are great, and it's a chance to be with other like-minded coaches and discuss the material and figure out how you are going to implement it in your profession. So the sessions take place 10 minutes after. There's nothing that you need to do. You will be swept away by technology into that session and divided up into groups. The session will last for 50 minutes. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Jonathan Reitz. So Jonathan is an executive coach. He specializes in catalyzing unique outcomes tailored to his client's situation, so unique to each and every leader. He is a master certified coach. He is the director of education, the CEO at Fluxify, and he's also the director of education at Case Western Reserve University in their Weatherhead coaching program. He's the co-founder of Team Coaching Global Alliance, and he conducts research in AI and coaching. He's going to share some of his insights with us today. Additionally, Jonathan is an ICF subject matter expert in AI, team coaching, and coaching education. He's also an author, and he lives in cold Cleveland, Ohio. The fun fact I'll share with you today is take your mind away to someplace warm and hot, Las Vegas, and in the next couple of weeks, his lovely wife is going to be singing with a band in Las Vegas, and he is going to go and proudly hold her suitcase. So without further ado, I welcome Jonathan.
Thanks, Carrie. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Looking forward to the conversation today. I debated, I'm not gonna lie, I debated adding a subtitle to this particular session. Why you need a business model canvas and how to build one. Subtitle, things I wish I had known earlier in my own coaching practice. Seriously, this is a legit, honest to goodness set of insights that I learned the hard way. And I want to pass these on to you so that you have the best possible set of opportunities to make a difference in your coaching practice moving forward. So we're going to dive into this tool that I love called the Business Model Canvas. But before we do that, let me just get a sense of where you are on the whole process of building out a business model for your work. All right. So that's my question to you. So let's open up poll number one, if we can, Lynn. Poll number one is built around how clear are you on the business model for your coaching practice? One single comment. Go ahead and vote. Give me your best insight. How clear are you on the business model for your coaching practice? Yeah, I always feel like we should play the Jeopardy music or some background voting music on all of this. So definitely appreciate you being here. All right, we've got a couple of people that say really clear. We're going to we'll dive into these results coming up here in just a second. We'll give you another I don't know 15 20 seconds to vote. All right. Yeah, this makes sense. These results make sense. That's for sure. All right, we're going to close our voting coming up in 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's take a look at the results. There we go. 8% say, "Hey, I'm really crystal clear on my business model." Hey, well done. Good job. Good job. Hopefully, we'll make it even better in the course of this conversation. Another 11%, so less than 20% total, say, "You know what, I got a pretty good handle on this." That means 80% of us could probably improve what we're offering when it comes down to business model. Now, if you are one of those folks that's saying, "Hey, my business model is not helping me," or I don't know, what's a business model? Well, this session is definitely going to level you up as far as that particular observation goes. So let's get right to it if we can to make the most of the opportunity around sharpening our coaching practices by building out the best possible business model. Now, if you're like me, until just the last few years, quite honestly, you might be viewing this idea of coaching as a bit of a crossroads. And I know, I'm just going to make this very, very personal. I know that for the majority of my coaching career, when I started thinking about business development and what I had to do to find clients and what I had to do to challenge myself to build a meaningful business, I started feeling like the right-hand side of the photo here. Like when I started thinking about business development and working on some of those kinds of things, I was going directly into the dark pit of, well, I won't use the word. I was going to some place that was going to be dark and stormy and scary. And oh my goodness, it didn't help me feel good about myself. But when I thought about coaching, just meeting the clients, diving into the conversation, well, sunshine and blue skies as far as the eye can see. That's that left-hand side of the picture. So I really wrestled with this, and I dealt with it in the most human way I possibly could. I avoided it. I avoided the conversation of thinking about business development and what I was going to do. And because I avoided it, I kept getting email like this one. You've probably seen a particular email like this. You probably got an email like this today from in your LinkedIn or in your inbox where some well-meaning individual wrote you and said, "I'm looking to help another coach scale their personal brand and get consistent leads." And then I love this. They offer to work for you for free. Work with you, work for you for free, at least for a period of time. And then this is my favorite part of the entire process. It's not going to require any work on your part. You're not going to have to do anything. It sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, I hate to tell you, it's going to require work. In fact, I'm going to go flat out on the limb and I'm going to call BS on that whole particular strategy, because you cannot build a coaching business without putting in the work. And just between us, we're friends, right? There's 100 and some odd of us here right now. We're all friends. We're all, real talk, right? Bottom line, you got to put in the work. You've got to actually make the effort to do this. And when I finally realized that I don't know, 10 years ago, that I had to do that, I started thinking back about some critical components that I'm going to just put in front of you for your consideration. The first one that points to why you need a business model canvas is a truth that I think is actually a reality for all of us, but quite honestly is not something that they teach you in coach training. I want you to think about this. I am of a mind at this point that clients don't find coaches for the most part. There's some exceptions. There's some exceptions, but for the most part, it is a lot more truthful that coaches actually have to go find clients. Coaches very often initiate the conversation. Business development for coaches means we're going to put ourselves in situations where potential clients can find us. And we might have to do some teaching about why a client would need a coach. Very often, I see this in corporate environments on a consistent, regular basis. In fact, I spent a week 2 weeks ago now on site at a corporate client where I had a handful of brand new coaching clients say to me, you know what? I have never considered coaching as something I would actually want. Because the vast majority of the time when the word coaching comes up, it means you're in your last few months of working here. Yeah, this is not the case. That's not what we're doing in this particular situation. So one part of a coach finding a client rather than a client finding a coach is re-educating that particular client about what we're actually doing here. So let that sink in for a minute. Clients don't find coaches. Coaches actually are much more likely to find clients in that situation. So have that running in the back of your mind as we're thinking about the rest of the conversation. Now, I do want to give you one other thing I wish I had known. Actually, I'm going to give you two other things I wish I had known. First of all, when I went out on my coaching practice, when I went out on my own in 2007, now, obviously I've survived. It's 2025. I started my coaching practice, my out on my own, not working for someone else coaching practice in 2007. It's 18 years I've been doing this now. It probably took me 5 or 6 years to realize some of these things that we're talking about here, including this one. I thought when I went out on my own, I would spend all my time coaching clients. I would put a website up and clients would find me, and all of a sudden I'd be off to the races. Now, that was 2007. So websites were kind of new. I was one of the first coaches I knew that had a website, and I put this thing up there and I thought, here come the clients. Crickets. Because coaching clients is only one of the things that we do as coaches who are serious about advancing the profession. So first of all, yes, you got to have time in your calendar to coach clients, but I'm going to suggest to you, there's a reason why I'm only showing you that as a third of a circle, because it's about 1/3 of the time that we spend when we're running our own practices. Here's another third: finding clients. In fact, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. For every hour you spend coaching each week, it's a great investment to spend the same number of hours working to find clients. Now, I know somebody just had a chill run down their spine at that ratio, but that is a long-term orientation toward building a coaching practice that lasts. Now, we'll talk about exactly how to set that up coming up here in just a moment. Now, the third third here is operations. And I'm going to suggest to you, this is a pretty good orientation for how you might set up your coaching practice. 1/3 of the time that you allot to your practice is actually coaching. 1/3 is looking for clients. And 1/3 is operations. And what do I mean by operations? I would suggest that is sending out invoices, keeping your books, managing your calendar, working with an admin if you have an admin. Not every coach has, very few coaches actually I've discovered have admins. And, I find in my own in the 1/3 of my coaching practice that goes into operations, I find the vast majority of the time I spend on operations is accounting, bookkeeping for the particular practice. So when you think about how many hours you want to put in on the course of a week, we'll use 36 because that'll make the math easy. You want to work a 36-hour work week, 12 hours goes to coaching. 12 hours probably goes to finding clients. And 12 hours goes to operations. That's the fundamental orientation that I'm going to suggest to you makes a difference. And what you do with that period of time comes down to your business model. Now, here's the working definition I use for a business model. It's a company's core strategy for operating profitably, for profitably doing business. Now, what's the most important word in that definition? Some people are going to say strategy. Some people are going to say business. I'm going to say profitably. Because bottom line, yes, I want to be coaching because that's what I feel like I was put on earth to do. But I would prefer it if my coaching would actually put my family in a situation where my kid could eat every single day, where the profit actually makes a difference. So Joan and John Cumbermack in the chat area, yes, gold star to you. You are the one that hit profitable as the key component here. This is the big idea of your business model, is how you are going to be set up to be profitable. Now, when you put in what is a business model into Google, there's literally something like 70 million responses. So how do you move forward? Well, I'm going to suggest a great way to really make a difference with that is to use a tool from a company called Strategizer called the Business Model Canvas. And the Business Model Canvas was crowdsourced over the course of several years by all kinds of different small businesses in a whole bunch of different industries. And what the crowdsourcing project was designed to do is to put the key pieces of operating your business on one single page. Key pieces. I use this myself. I have used this I first discovered it in 2011. And this actually was the thing that helped me start realizing that, I don't have the pieces together that I need to move forward. Here's mine. This is literally on the other side of my monitor. It's on the wall on the other side of my monitor. That is my business model canvas. I use the very one that I just had up on the previous page. And yes, it will be downloadable in the membership area, so you can build out your own business model canvas. It's 9 segments. You can see them there. There's value proposition, there's customer segments, customer relationships, channels, revenue, cost structure, key activities, key resources, and partners. So my question to you is, I want to open up a second poll. What's the most important component of a business model? All right. So let's vote on that for a couple of minutes. What is the most important component of a business model? And now, as the votes are coming in here, maybe Carrie, this is a good time for us to also grab some questions or observations or comments from the chat area as folks are thinking about how all this comes together. So. What are you hearing or what are you noticing?
Absolutely. So a lot of smart people who knew that the word that you were going to say was profitable in that phrase of core strategy, for doing your business. I think
Yes.
people are busy with the polls. So folks, if you have a question for Jonathan right now related to what we have, he has been presenting to us thus far, please type it in the Q&A and I will bring it forward to him gladly.
All right. Now I'm excited about where these results are coming through, but now would be a great time. And by the way, throughout the course of the conversation, as questions are coming to mind, throw them in there. Carrie and I are going to stop a couple times in the course of this so that we can be sure to ask any question that you might have. And we'll close the poll down here in just a moment.
Shirley Thompson asks, what if you don't understand the headings on the canvas? So how do you get that first step? First things first.
Perfect. You know what you do, Shirley, is you hang out for the next couple of minutes of the presentation because we're going to go through it box by box. So
Amazing.
that you are ready to go to push into what all of these areas will mean.
And Carla would love to hear, what is the piece on building confidence in developing business? Does that come as part of the 9 quadrant, or I guess it's not quadrants, but the 9 categories?
So I think that's a great question. That where's the piece on building confidence? That is, actually, if you think about the image that I put up of my own business model canvas here, let me go back to that one, and I think you'll see where the confidence comes in. So the confidence piece to me is the fact that you do everything with Post-it notes. Yeah, that like I say, that's literally my business model canvas here. Now you'll notice, you can tell because of the glare coming off it, that I have a laminated one, and it's a pretty good sized one. But the confidence comes from building your business model canvas using Post-it notes, because you can therefore change your mind after you test things. So let's go ahead and end the poll, and we'll talk about the outcomes here coming up in a second. Now, notice these descriptions. Now, this is an interesting and discerning group, because the poll totals usually are not this close. Value proposition got 53%. Target client got 27%. And revenue streams got 12%. Oh, interesting. This is an interesting group. So all this to say that going back to Carlo's question, that building a business model that is really going to work for you is a combination of understanding, hey, this is what I want to do, and simultaneously, this is what my target audience wants from people around me. So that really, I'm going to suggest, is the challenge. You've got to have a group of clients that fit your picture of who your ideal client is, that will give you feedback on what you're doing. Now, yes, some of that can be, hey, can I call you up? Like, for example, when I was very early on, I had a learning and development team. She was the assistant leader of the team, but it was somebody that I knew well enough that I could ask business questions. And if I said, hey, I'm thinking about offering something like this, how would that land with you? And she would say, it'd be better if it was this. I went, oh, okay, great. And then she said say things like, actually what we would really like would be this, this, and this. And I remember her saying that to me, and my heart just sinking, because I didn't want to do those things. I didn't want to do what she was asking. And so I said, well, what about this, this, and this as a result of the combination? And it was the back and forth that helped me really focus in on what I was offering, and B, be confident in the fact that I had an offering that my target client actually wanted. And I'm going to suggest, Carlo, that that's where a lack of confidence or a perceived confidence deficit might come from. It's when you're putting something out there that you're not fully believing that your clients want. And the best thing you can do for your business development strategy, in fact, if you don't take anything else away from this conversation today, take this. The best thing you can do for your confidence in your business model is to talk to your clients, the ones you got, the ones you landed, and the ones you didn't land, about your offer. So your offer, A, should create the value that you're after, B, should serve your target client, and C, should be something that they're willing to pay for. Now, I know when early on in my coaching career, I used to coach anybody, literally anybody. And because when they would say, well, why would I be coached by you? I said, well, because I'm learning to coach. Well, that's about me. That's not about solving my client's problem. Believe it or not, they weren't really willing to pay for that. So I would say, how about we just meet over a cup of coffee? And that's about what I got out of my coaching early on for the first year or so. But as who I wanted to work with got more refined, as the value I wanted to offer got more refined, and as we honed in on the marriage of those two things, my confidence went up. And it wasn't terribly long before that offer got to be quite a bit more significant. So let's dive into how that process plays out using the business model canvas. So I'll clear all the details away from that. I'll clear all of it away from that, and we'll go from there. Oh, to Joan John's question, what's the A, B, and C again? Number one, you have to be clear. You have to be clear on what you want to offer. Always start there. Always start there. Now, I love coaching leaders in new projects. Love that. I love it when they take stuff on. I've realized now that that's about me. That's about I'm all kinds of ADHD. I'm sure you can tell from listening to this presentation, but I love new things. I love novelty. So my ideal offering value is something that leads to new opportunities for somebody else. B is you need a picture of who you want to work with. Right? Okay. So what does that person look like? My ideal client is a leader. So they've got some kind of leadership responsibility, professionally or personally. They have a vision. I know that about them, is they're working towards something. They've got people following them. That's a key component, because you can be in a leadership role and not have anybody follow you, right? Yeah, that's a problem. But you can also be in a leadership role and not have a vision. So I check all of those things. There's also two more components. Number 4 in that picture of my ideal client is they've got to want to develop the people that are following them. It's not just about leading to the vision, it's about developing people on the way. That's the criteria that I look for. I love that. And then finally, they got to want to have a little fun. You know, I'm a moderately irreverent person. I would like to think that fun follows me wherever it goes. I would like to think that being coached by me is fun. So I want that to work for the process instead of against it. So that's what my client looks like. And you need that. That's all the detail you need. It's all the detail you need. You don't need a whole lot more than that. I used to track all kinds of other variables. I realized that those are not the difference makers. So A, what kind of coaching you want to offer. B, a picture of your target client. And C, you've got to have an offer, an actual product that people are willing to pay for. All right. So those are the three. And they're going to show up in the business model canvas that we're going to dive into here. Now, critical thing to know is that business model canvas shows up in a couple of different ways. There is a public facing version. It's these 5 boxes. These are the things that everybody can see. And let's spend a moment on what those are. At the center of it all is the value proposition. What value does what you're doing create for the consumer, for the customer. So in my case, I want to help them get clarity of vision. I want to help them get more followers. I want to help them think strategically. I had a session earlier today where my client, who is very early in the course of their business, wanted to think about how they could build a network of freelancers to follow their vision with them. Great. Loved it. That very much lines up with the value proposition. Add in that, who's the customer? So we're right back at A, B, and C again, right? Who's the customer? Who do you want to have on your roster as customers? And then what's the relationship or relationships you want with your customers? Now, here comes the question. I'm just going to plant this seed with you because in 27 years, I have 13,000 hours of coaching experience. I've been running 2 training schools. I've been running what is now Fluxify since 2008. So 17 years. You know, that thousands of coaches. I've been involved with the Weatherhead School for 5 years, 6 years. I've been involved with Team Coaching Global Alliance for 4 years. Literally thousands of coaches. I think I know 3 coaches who are full-time coaches. And when I say a full-time coach, I mean someone who every single cent they earn comes from coaching. So that person in this box, when it says, what's the relationship with the customer? That person says coach and only coach. Almost every other coach, I jokingly refer to as part-time because, and in fact, that's what I am, because I do speaking engagements occasionally. I'll speak at a corporate retreat. I work with a university leadership team where we go off and I do content, not just coaching. I represent an assessment. So in my case, the relationship I want with the customers are coach, speaker, assessment debriefer. That's going to change some things, right? That's going to help you dive into what you're up to. So I want to challenge you to think about how you make money in your practice, in your business. Are you only coaching? Is that the only thing you get paid for? Do you consult? Do you speak? That's a part of your business model. Leverage that, name that, leverage that. That's really important to stay clear on. All right, that's box number 3. Box number 4, how will you communicate with customers? This is probably, I think this is the hardest one in 2025. I really do. I really think this is one of the hardest ones in 2025 because everybody's got a podcast, right? Lots of people have a YouTube channel. Everybody's on social media. It's tempting to think that when I post my accomplishments on LinkedIn, I'm killing it and doing marketing, but does that really lead to clients? Not always. In fact, not usually. But that communication about the relationship that I want to have with clients. Like if you follow me on social media, I never talk about anything. I never talk about speaking, even though I do that. I don't talk about assessment work very often, even though I don't do that. I talk about what it's like to be someone who helps people discover what they're good at and use those abilities, because that's how I think about coaching. So how will you communicate through social media, through YouTube, through, what have you, and what will your message be? Love it. Definitely focus on that. And then the last part of the public-facing business model is, what can you sell to the customers? What's your product? My products, I have 3 products. I have a 5-session coaching engagement. I call it a launch package. Everybody starts with that. Literally everyone I work with starts with 5 sessions, no matter what. You know why? Because for some clients, 5 sessions is enough to get at what matters to them. Boom. Then they're out the door. And you know what they do when that happens? is they tell everybody about working with Jonathan. This guy solved my challenge in 5 sessions. This guy helped me get where I wanted to be in 5 sessions. And I'm like, score. Thank you very much. Everybody starts with 5 sessions. Second option is we'll do our 5 sessions and discover and realize, you know what? We actually need more than 5 sessions. And then it's the easiest follow-up sale ever. Because let's just talk business for a second here. It's to our advantage to be in a coaching engagement with someone for more than one coaching cycle. So make it as easy as you can for them to renew what they're doing. That's the other reason I start with 5 sessions, is because it's a very easy upsell to a longer engagement. And my second product is a 1-year engagement where I give them 18 sessions that they can schedule anytime they want in the course of 12 months. It's considerably more expensive than the 5 sessions. It's not 4 times more expensive, but it's 3 times more. But they get what they pay for. They get a lot more. They get a lot different access in that situation. So if you have the first 5-session engagement and you want to do another one, you can commit to a larger timetable, and we can go forward. That tends to be very effective. And then the third product is a one-off pay-as-you-go. That per session is the most expensive thing I offer, but you're only committing to 1 session at a time. That's what I have in my what can I sell to the customers, because that's how I make revenue. Now, I'll do a speaking engagement from time to time. I don't love that anymore. It's not my core business. Coaching is my core business, but that's what I put there. All right. So that's the forward-facing piece of the business model canvas. And I do see there's a couple of questions in there in the chat area. We'll pause on those here coming up in a moment. Now, there's also back office components to the business model canvas, including these are the red areas. These are behind the scenes. Nobody sees these. You know they're happening. They're really important that they're happening, but they're not easy to meet the eye. It starts with the value proposition. You behind the scenes have an opportunity to consistently, regularly, and reliably ask yourself, is what I'm offering providing value to your customer? And that's a critical piece to it. Then key activities is, hey, what is that? What do you need to do to serve the customer? For example, what is your repeatable calendar week to week to week need to look like? Like, I've learned that because of that 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, the 1/3 of my time that goes to finding clients needs to be in the morning, because that doesn't come naturally to me. So I need to be fresh and on top of things. So I do that stuff in the morning when I'm fresher. My interpersonal skills hold up better in the afternoon than my creative skills do. So I do my coaching, I do my appointments in the afternoon when the stuff that needs the other part of my brain is already done. Sets me up for success on a couple of different levels. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about when it comes to key activities. How do you fit in your admin time? I do most of my admin time either late in the afternoon or on Saturday morning. I work 5.5 days. I work Monday through Friday, a regular schedule, and then I work Saturday from 9 to noon, just about every week. And my admin time is an hour at the end of each day, and then Saturday morning. That's where the 1/3, that's not quite a third, but that's the way it shakes out for me, is that fits in that particular realm. Key resources are things like, what do you have to offer? What kind of tools do you have available to work with? I realize that I'm a pretty good writer, so I will occasionally write I haven't been as diligent about this as I should be because business hasn't required it, but a newsletter might be a way forward to do something like that. A podcast might be a way forward. I did a campaign over the last year of being a guest on other people's podcasts, looking for coaching clients. It was very effective. That was something I have to work with because I'm a decent talker. to move through all of this. So what do I have available to work with? This is where you look internally at yourself and think to yourself, hey, what can I really put on the table that will make my business better? Who can you work with to improve the project? That might be an editor, that might be an admin, that might be a brand specialist, that might be other coaches that you can pursue larger contracts with. You know, who might you work with to improve the project? And then finally, what expenses will you incur as you deliver this project? Now, if I put all those questions up there, I'm just going to tell you flat out, go ahead and grab a screenshot of this, although it's in the downloadable slides that'll be on coaching.com as well. Go ahead and grab a screenshot of this particular slide, because these 9 questions will completely reorganize your business model practices and will set you up for a much, much higher level of effectiveness in diving into what your coaching practice looks like. So now, that being said, 2 quick things, and then we'll I see Carrie jumping in, probably has questions. 2 big things we'll throw out here is that when we lay out what goes on behind the scenes, what goes up in front of the scenes, it's easy to meet the eye. Remember, all of this does not include the actual coaching. This is the stuff you're doing on top of, and that's a mindset that lots of coaches overlook. Lots of coaches overlook. There are pieces that we must do because coaching, this is a business. To run the business, have to be thinking about all of these kinds of things. And the business model canvas doesn't actually speak to the time it's going to take to actually coach. That's a reality that, like I say, I didn't learn that in coach training. I discovered that after a bunch of years on my own, and that really changed some things. All right, Carrie. So what are people saying?
Right.
What are people asking about?
I think there's a little bit of how was it before and how was it after that you started using this tool? Help us get motivated, because it's going to be some work. It's going to be some effort here. So tell us the before and after, Jonathan.
All right, three big things I will tell you about. Number one, it really, before, I was very scattershot about the value I was offering to my clients. And as you heard me lay out my target client, the 3 big things I offer to my clients is, if you self-identify as a leader, what is it about you that would cause people to follow you? I want to help you become really clear on that. Now, I think that works beautifully with coaching, because I would argue that the thing that coaches offer to the world is we use what we have to make other people's lives better. And that's a skill that's a stance that the world needs. The world would be a better place if more people functioned that way. And that's what I'm doing with this particular leader, is inviting them to think about, hey, what is it about you that when you offer it, people's lives get better? So that's the first area. That's the first area of value. And that immediately helped me go, I do want to work with this person. I don't want to work with that person. Now, the second 2 took that even to another level, which are, what's your vision, and what skills do you have to offer to develop the people around you as you move toward that vision. So those are the areas that's what having a value proposition did for me. Was it said, hey, you know what? When we have a coaching conversation, this is what we're going to work on, and the details of that the client will provide. Instead of going, I don't know, let's figure out what we can coach on, which is what I did a lot early on. So that's the first thing, having a value proposition. Second thing, when I started thinking about my value proposition and who would want it, who would benefit from it, who my target client was for it, it made it easier to hone in on the top candidates for coaching, and it made it much quicker when I got into an initial chemistry call to identify whether or not the client was the fit. Now, the unexpected, very happy coincidence is it also helped me refer clients to coaches who would be a great fit for them in ways that I'd never thought of. And that's that's something I say to potential clients. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to find a coach for you. Hopefully it's me, but if it's not, I'm going to help you find that person who is the right fit, because I'm that committed to coaching to see that happen. So my value proposition to my target client not only made my business better, it made a bunch of other coaches' business better, because I started referring people more intentionally with a higher likelihood of good fit. So that's the second thing. Then the last thing about it is it gave me a checklist to say, hey, bottom line, is my business model working? Am I getting what I want out of coaching or not? And I was young and dumb when I started. Well, I'm old and dumb now, but I was young and dumb when I started and went, I just want to coach. Well, no, I want to coach. I don't want to work 70 hours a week. I mean, I want to work hard. I want to work smart. I want to work well, but I want to have my evenings free. I want to be, I want to be able to do some of those things. I want to have some kind of work-life balance.
Okay.
And this began to make those kinds of things possible. I'm not where I want to be yet, but we're getting there. And by the way, it also raised the profitability of my business dramatically.
Will you repeat that? Because it sounds like there's going to be some work for us to do. So what was the outcome?
It gave me much better work-life balance, and it took my profitability dramatically up. In fact, okay, let's talk numbers. We're friends here. We can talk numbers, right? My first 3 years, I covered my expenses and paid myself a salary of about $30,000. That no, 2007, 2008, 2009, which $30,000 today would be, oh my gosh, what are you doing? But in those days, I was happy with that. I had come from a not-for-profit organization. I was happy with that at that time. The profit today, the profit today is it's a number of times larger than that, because I'm focused on who I can serve. I'm clear on who I can't serve. And I have there goes the balloons. Yeah, it is a bit of a celebration. I'm focused on who I can serve. I know who I can't serve. And I have a unique product market fit that allows me to charge a premium without working a dramatic number of hours. So getting really clear on your business model means your profitability will go dramatically up.
Will you say more about your product market fit? Will you say something to that?
That's that balance between knowing what you want to offer, that's the product, and knowing that what you have to offer is something your target client wants.
Are willing to pay for.
And are willing to pay for. That's the market. And the fit is when what you're offering and what they want are the same.
Align. Okay. Did you have a partner to work on this model? Joan is asking to help bounce ideas with, or this is iterative through your.
I have gone back and forth on that. And to that line, I have on occasion talked to other coaches saying, hey, let's compare notes on this. I have on occasion talked to other small business owners that I know use this process. By the way, if you finding people here on coaching.com in the membership community, that's a great place to compare notes with somebody else going through something similar. It's a great place to do that. Many local municipalities have a council of smaller industries, a small business bureau, where this methodology is known and they will help you. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. There's lots of places you can dive into that. I'd also say to you, ChatGPT is really good at this. ChatGPT is really good. In fact, I wrote you some prompts. Pay attention here, participants. I wrote you some ChatGPT prompts to dive into that. Carrie, you tell me, does it make sense that I show those now?
I think there's a drum roll. I think you can't not.
Well, I kind of teed that up. Now, we will make sure score. Yeah, Lisa Singer says score. Yeah, that's another great. Score is another. That's a version of the. That's a version of the Small Business Administration that can be very helpful. Now, you can literally have this Word document I'm about to show you. And then we'll go over to ChatGPT and I'll show you what it did for me. Let's see. This I wrote this for you, and I've been playing around with this, I don't know, for a month or two to dive into it. Now, here's what we're starting with. Act like a small business development and branding expert and help me develop the business model for my coaching practice. Here are the details you need. Business service description, brief description, and I'll show you what I wrote for mine here in a second. Target audience, value proposition, communication, etc. Assess this information and provide recommendations for improvements. And then there's a couple of follow-up prompts. So let me go over to my ChatGPT, and I'll show you what it gave me when I put this prompt into the session. All right, so let me switch over here. All right, somebody give me a thumb. Somebody gives me a. This is not in the free version of ChatGPT, what I'm showing you right now, but you can use the free version. It's not a problem. Or the free version of Claude. Not a problem. You don't have to pay for it to get this. Now, as you can see, here's the prompt. Act like a small business development and branding expert and help me develop the business model service description. Here's what I wrote. I'm going to skim it real quick. I'm an executive and leadership coach, works with C-suite leaders, startup founders, movement leaders, etc. My values are, I put my values in there because I thought that'd be helpful to frame it out. Here's my target audience, clients and serve. They have a vision, have people following them, want to develop the gifts, talents of people, and often starting a new project. So exactly what we talked about earlier, right? Good. Value proposition. Here's what it does. Communication strategy. I communicate email lists, etc. Products offered. I wrote that up. Cost structure. The only costs I have are web hosting and LinkedIn Premium, which is exactly right. Assess this information and provide recommendations. Ready? All right. I'm going to step out on a limb. I'm going to show you actually what it said to me. So we have no secrets here, right? So let's see what it can do. Strengths. Clear target audience. Love it. Hey, thank you. I'm patting myself on the back, digitally speaking. Strong value proposition. All right, good. Simple cost structure. Love it. I'm kind of digging where this is going. Product flexibility. Diverse communication strategy. All right. We can deal with it. That'll work. That'll work. Recommendations. All right, now let's get it. Expand your value. Yeah, there it is. Work on it. Measurable progress and deep self-understanding. Yeah, that's a part of what I write about. But what does that mean? Absolutely, you can have this prompt. I'll give you the chat here in a second. I'll give you the prompt here in a second. Enhanced product offering. Optimized pricing strategy. Yeah, all right. These are all legit. Refined communication strategy. Yeah, love it. Love it. Yeah, absolutely. Invest in branding. Boy, tell me about it. Tell me about it. So these are all, I mean, it took me 12 seconds to rewrite that. Create a client journey. Oh, what a great idea. And leverage analytics and feedback. Now it says, would you like help drafting a refined value proposition? Yes, I would, but I didn't go there because I suggested a different prompt. And I'm going to give you all three of the prompts that I'm going to show you here, by the way. I'm going to give you all three of them. You can have them all. Have at them. In fact, I'd love to hear from you about what you discover. on it. I would love to hear more from you. So work through this material, and here are the 9 questions that I took off the business model canvas, right? What value? Work through these step by step. Be systematic. Take your time. Have fun. Make my business better. When we've covered all the bases above, give me a summary. Now notice, I love what this does. This to me is the big opportunity in front of us with AI right now. Is it wants me to push down deeper into my own content. So what value does this project create for the customer? All right, I'm going to type in here. I work hard to build self-understanding and to help the client understand themselves in terms of their natural gifts, their experience, their personality. Oops. I should have typed this all out ahead of time, but we'll just go just a little bit. Their behavioral tendencies and other facets. Then we develop a vision and a plan for how they will use their uniqueness to develop the people around them. Let's see what it comes up with. It's thinking, it's thinking, it's thinking, and it's still thinking. The squirrel must be tired at ChatGPT. Oh, it's a great foundation. All right, great. Now they want to know some details about the customer. So it'll work me through those step by step by step by step by step. That is powerful. Now, I'm going to go back to my Word document here real quick because I want you to see this, and then I realize we're almost out of time here. So we'll get an opportunity to dive into this a little bit further. All right, now I'm back in my Word document. So here's the prompt to follow up. It suggests the questions, works you through the business model canvas. And then finally, now notice it says when we covered all the bases, after we go through all 9, it's going to give you a summary, a bullet point summary. And finally, use this prompt to shape your business model into content. So you start here. Now, switching roles to one where you are acting as a content strategist, convert my business model into a LinkedIn and marketing content to attract and convert leads. Based on my improved business model, here's what I want. And then this will give you details to walk you through what your LinkedIn profile might look like based on the business model canvas. Because now you've streamlined your business and you're able to take it directly to what it works. And then final step, you can upload a screen grab of your LinkedIn profile and review the processes. So yes, we will give you those prompts. We'll load them onto the membership site.
Absolutely.
For all of this.
Yeah.
I won't drop them in the chat area or the Q&A right now, but
No.
we will. Yeah, it's a Word document that that will go from there. And if you log into the membership site, you'll be good to go. Unless Lynn messages me as we're doing our last couple of questions here, Carrie.
Yeah, Jonathan, we have like a minute, one
Okay.
question and off we go. So I think that everything will be on the membership site that is shareable. Absolutely. That's alwayscoaching.com to be obscenely generous. Is there anything, Jonathan, in terms of a wrap-up comment? And we don't have any burning questions. You've been really good at noticing them as we go along. I've tried to bring them forward too. So it's more people are looking for, what did you talk about? Can we access it? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. So,
all right. The big takeaway is work hard. Talk with another coach about what you want to offer.
I am implementation mastery. Be there. That'll be a great place to start.
Get a picture of who your target client is, and then just spend a little time confirming that what you want to offer is something your target client wants to take away. That's business model in a nutshell.
Process that, people. And as David Taylor Klaus says, I was taught a long time ago, Jonathan, it sounds exactly like what you're saying. One of my fellow coach hosts said that I was told, spend some time working on your business and spend some time working in your business.
Yes.
Important distinctions, and that has set him up for success. So,
hey, this is a friendly reminder if you are an ICF member. Now that you reviewed this session recording, simply scroll down to the session resources below and find a one-question quiz. Please complete it and you will make sure that you have received the CC units for this session. And if you already attended this session live, you've already been granted the CC units for it and you don't need to complete this quiz. That's all from me. See you next time. Bye-bye.